Have you ever believed that being a good child means simply obeying your parents, providing for them, or being physically present when they grow old? Have you ever thought you were fulfilling your duty, only to discover that something still felt incomplete? Welcome back to the channel, dear friends. This is the place where we don't just look at life, we look into life, where we challenge long-held beliefs, break through inherited assumptions, and illuminate the quiet truths that often go unnoticed. Today, we're diving into a concept so ancient and revered, yet so deeply misunderstood in modern times of filial piety. You've all heard the term before, perhaps from school, religion, or our family elders. Be good to your parents, respect the elderly, take care of them when they're sick. Listen, sacrifice. On the surface, it all sounds noble, and yet, how many people who perform these duties still feel a strange weight in their chest? How many children, even after doing everything right, still end up in conflict with their parents, emotionally exhausted or silently resentful? Why is that? Because the true essence of filial piety has been buried beneath tradition and obligation. We've been taught the forms but not the spirit, and unless we rediscover its essence, we'll continue to confuse performance with presence, obedience with understanding, and duty with love. Let me tell you a story. Here was a man who worked tirelessly to care for his aging father. He gave him the best room in the house, hired caretakers, bought expensive medicine, and took time off work to be by his side. From the outside, it was the image of perfect filial piety. But one day, the father looked at his son and said, "Why do I feel like a burden to you?" The son was stunned. "I've done everything for you," he said. "I've sacrificed so much." The father replied softly, "Yes, you've done everything, but your heart isn't here." That single sentence shattered the illusion. Because here's the truth: real filial piety is not about tasks. It's not about how much money you give, how often you call, or how many times you show up at family dinners. It's about understanding. That's it. 2 words. Real filial piety is the willingness to see your parents as human beings, to understand their wounds, their fears, their limitations, to look beyond their roles as mom or dad, and see the child they once were, the dreams they buried, the trauma they never healed, and the love they often didn't know how to express. Without this understanding, every act of care becomes mechanical. You can feed someone 3 meals a day, but if you judge them while doing it, you're feeding them resentment. You can sit beside them for hours, but if your mind is elsewhere, you're offering absence, not presence. But with understanding, everything changes. You begin to ask, why did my father become so silent over the years? Why is my mother so anxious about small things? What happened in their past that shaped who they are? And perhaps most importantly, how have I been seeing them not as they are, but as I expect them to be? One of the most transformative practices you can undertake is to ask your parents about their lives, not just the obvious events, but their inner world. What made them feel proud? What were their deepest regrets? What fears did they hide from you? What sacrifices did they make that you never noticed? These conversations may not be easy. Any parents come from generations where emotional transparency was discouraged, but even asking, gently, sincerely, can open a doorway, crack through which healing light can enter. Understanding turns obedience into compassion, transforms frustration into empathy. It shifts your gaze from the surface of behavior to the depth of experience. I once met a woman who resented her mother for years. "She's always criticizing me," she said, "and nothing I do is ever good enough." But when she learned that her mother grew up in poverty, raised her siblings alone after her parents died young, and never heard a single word of praise in her entire childhood, her anger softened. He didn't excuse the behavior, but she understood it, and in that moment, a decades-old wall between them began to crumble. Understanding doesn't mean agreeing with everything, doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It means looking with eyes that seek truth, not comfort, heads that want to see, not judge. And here's where the miracle happens. When your heart changes, your actions change even if the external circumstances don't. You speak differently. Listen more. You stop trying to change them and start loving them as they are. This is true liberation, not only for them but for you. Because so many of us are unconsciously shaped by our relationships with our parents. We carry their voices in our heads. Their fears become our hesitations. Their wounds become our patterns. We don't understand them. We will live them. But when we do understand, we break the cycle. We free ourselves. And often, we free them too. This brings us to another dimension of filial piety that is rarely discussed: spiritual growth. In many traditions, including Eastern philosophies, the greatest way to honor your parents is not merely through care but through self-cultivation. When you work on your own mind, your own heart, your own heritage, and not just benefiting yourself, you're uplifting your entire lineage. Your clarity purifies ancestral confusion. Your forgiveness dissolves generational resentment. Your peace becomes their peace. I once heard a monk say, when you sit in meditation and transform your anger, you're transforming your father's anger, and your grandfather's anger too, because they live in you. So if you truly want to repay your parents, not just for their sacrifices in this life, but for the karmic journey that brought you together, then walk the path of inner awakening. Become more conscious. Become more loving. Not to prove your worth, but to embody your gratitude. Some people say, but my parents are gone. How can I be filial now? Here's the truth: it's never too late. You can honor them through remembrance, with prayer, reliving in a way that would make them proud, and not just because you succeeded, but because you became wise. You can write them a letter. You can speak to them in your heart. You can dedicate your spiritual efforts to them. Because love doesn't end with death, and neither does gratitude. And if your relationship with them was strained, or even painful, you can still heal. You can still forgive. You can still offer the one thing you might never have been able to say when they were alive: I see you now, and I thank you. That, too, is filial piety. So let's rethink what it means to be a good child. It's not about blind obedience. It's not about sacrificing yourself. It's about clarity. It's about compassion. It's about breaking the pattern of unconscious reactions and choosing to respond with wisdom. Filial piety is not a task to be checked off. It's a practice to be lived. It starts in the heart, and it extends into every word, every gesture, every moment of presence. So if this message touched something within you, if it reminded you of your own journey, your own parents, your own longing for understanding, share it in the comments. Let's create a space where healing begins, where generations are reconciled not just by blood, but by truth. Like this video if it resonated with you. Subscribe for more content like this, content that nourishes the soul, challenges the mind, and opens the heart. And if you want to support this mission of awakening, consider becoming a channel member. Thank you for watching this video. May your path be filled with clarity, your relationships with depth, and your life with peace. We'll see you in the next one.